Welcome to On the Curbside, a show that brings you the latest in indie and alternative music news. That is right, here on the Curbside. We're back. Been off for a little while, but back now to bring you the same old weekly goodness of your fix of music news, gig guides, as well as some pretty great tunes and chit-chat as well. We got some pretty exciting stuff coming up on the show today. Going to be talking a little bit about the Jungle Giants, DZ Deathrays, Club Sport. They've all got some pretty big stuff in the works. A lot of tours going on. A lot of albums have also been announced that they are being worked on as well. So very, very exciting stuff there. As well as that, we're going to give you the lowdown on what you can expect from Falls Festival sideshows. Now, this is always a pretty hot topic amongst punters because quite often, you can't quite get down to Falls Festival in Byron Bay to see the band, so you try and catch them at a sideshow, but unfortunately, it's not in your city, or you can't make it to the dates. So hang around. I'm going to bring you all of the dates that the big ones, or some of our favourite bands, are going to be playing, as well as where and when that is going to be. A little bit of a spoiler though, not going to be any going on in Brisbane, unfortunately, this year. Kicking it just in Melbourne and Sydney, which is a little bit unfortunate, really, a little bit sad, but hey, not much that you can do about these things sometimes.
On the Curbside, the music news equivalent of smooth sax.
Smooth sax indeed, but that brings us to the first music news of this year. Well, not of this year, of this return season reiteration of On the Curbside. And we're going to be talking about the Jungle Giants. Now, you may remember this little one right here. Every Kind of Way, this one's called. And over the weekend, they dropped a little sneaky pic of them hanging out the front of Empire Studios here in Brisbane with the simple caption, "We recording, baby." And then in a little chat to Triple J, frontman Sam Hales shed a little bit more light on exactly what they have been up to. So he went on to say, "We've just started recording number 3. Yeah, it's kind of accidentally happened." So we also let slip that the band has about 30 songs in the kitty at the moment, and that's thanks to a bit of a switch up in his approach to writing music over the past 12 months. He's pulled a little bit of inspiration from the way Nick Cave writes his music. He went on to say, "I wake up at 7:30 a.m, go to a cafe near my house, and then I go to this room and I don't leave till 5 p.m. I used to think a good day of writing was 3 hours, but after a couple of months, I just got used to writing for 8 hours. For like a year now, I've just been smashing out all these new tunes, and then this studio. It's pretty new. They've just opened up and they're keen to get us in to try it, so we just went in. And it's been perfect. And over the weekend, we're just like, let's start the record now." So we're not just talking some demo tracks either. We're not just teasing out a couple of, here's a little sample we did, here's a little bits and pieces. He's saying that this is as finished as they've ever been before for their songs. So that means it's probably not going to be too much longer now before we can expect to catch some fresh tunes from the Jungle Giants. Now, it's been a little while since we've heard some stuff from them. This one here, Every Kind of Way, was off Speakerzoid. That came out in 2015. That's almost a year ago now. And yeah, I think the fans are starting to crave, just absolutely fanging for a bit more of the Jungle Giants, which would be really, really awesome stuff. And overall, we got some more exciting stuff coming out of their camp as well. They're going to be playing the Red Deer Music Festival in Brisbane. That's a BYO festival. I don't think it's sold out yet, on October 22nd. So there still may be a chance for you to grab tickets if you haven't had a chance to yet. So have a look, get into it. If you can't wait till God knows how long from now, hopefully not too long, to catch some Jungle Giants action, you might be able to do it at Red Deer. You might even be able to catch some fresh new tracks from them as well. Anyway, keep your eyes and ears peeled. As soon as we do hear some new stuff from those guys, you'll be the first to know about it right here from us at On the Curbside. We're going to jump back into some tunes if you're listening on the podcast right now, or if you're listening on the full live show on SoundCloud right now, I should say. Sorry, if you're listening to the podcast and you're missing the music, head over to soundcloud.com/on the curbside. You're able to find all of our shows in full there, and maybe you can have a little listen to the tune we're about to play right now.
Bringing you the latest in indie music news. It's on the curbside.
That is right, on the curbside. Very, very exciting stuff. And we've got some more exciting stuff from a Brisbane band. You might remember them. Deathrays is their name. They released their second album, Black Rat, back in 2014. You also might remember a little bit earlier in the year, maybe a few months ago now, they dropped a single, Blood on My Leather, with a tour announcement alongside it. And now they've done it again, given a little taste of another tune called Pollyanna. But it gets better. They haven't just dropped a new track, they've also announced a little sneaky tour for December to tease out the fans. Well, they're working on their next album, which we can probably expect. I think it's a pretty safe bet considering it's 2 singles that have already been released, Blood on My Leather and this one, Pollyanna, to feature on. So they're currently working on the album with Burke Reed, who's done a bit of work with the likes of Courtney Barnett, The Drones, Sarah Blasco, just to spot a few. And this is a bit of a taster of what they're coming out with so far. What do you reckon about that? Honestly, I'm a pretty big fan of this one from the boys. Loud, catchy, electric, classic DZ Deathrays, if I would have to say. And I did say a little earlier, they're going to be hitting the road. But they aren't going alone. They're going to be bringing along Eka Vandal right across all of the dates with them. So grab a pen. I'm going to read you those dates right now and where you can catch them. Going to be kicking off Friday the 9th of December at the Triffid in Brisbane. That's an all-ages show. Saturday the 10th of December at the YMCA headquarters in Leederville, WA. And that's got an under-18s matinee show as well. You're going to be playing at Jackrabbit Slims in Perth on the 10th of December. Thursday, the 15th of December, they're going to be at the Factory in Sydney, New South Wales. That's an all-ages show. Friday, the 16th of December at the Unibar in Adelaide. That's an all-ages show as well. Saturday, the 17th of December at the Croxton Band Room. That's an under-18s matinee show. As well as that night at the Croxton Band Room in Melbourne. They're also going to be playing a over-18 show, I suppose would be the way you would describe it. Now, if you can't wait until December, they're going to be playing some shows this weekend in Queensland. That's right, and New South Wales. But I'll have some more info on that in our gig guide coming up. Stay with me.
Keep up to date with the latest music news at onthecurbside.net.
But that does bring us to one of my favourite parts of the show. It's time for this. That's right. On the Curbside's Gig Guide. For another week. This one's going to be for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 23rd, 24th, 25th of September. Kicking us off on Friday, Viera Blue is going to be playing at 48 Watt Street in Newcastle, New South Wales. Montaigne's going to be at the Fat Controller in Adelaide, South Australia. Bring Me the Horizon's going to be playing an added show at the Margaret Court Arena in Melbourne. All Day's going to be hitting up the Enmore Theatre in Sydney. ASAP Ferg's going to be at 170 Russell in Melbourne. The Delta Rig's going to play the Prince of Wales Hotel in Budbury, WA. Safia's going to be hitting the UC Refactory in Canberra. Ballpark Music's going to be playing at Soul Bar in Maroochydore, up in the sunny coast. Sunny Coast? Gold Coast. One of the coasts up here in Queensland. DZ Deathrays is going to be at the V Room in Noosa. That moves us over to Saturday the 9th. On Saturday the 24th of the 9th. Vera Blue's going to be continuing that little tour, hitting up the Oxford Arts Factory in Sydney. Montaigne's going to be playing Jackrabbit Slims over in Perth. Alday's going to be moving to the Met here in Brisbane. The Delta Rigs going to be playing the Rosemount Hotel in Perth, WA. Ballpark Music's going to be playing at the Triffid in Brisbane. I'm going to be down at that show. If you see me, let me know. Say, hey, what up? It's going to be a really good one. Going to be hearing some stuff off their new album. Pretty excited for it, actually. DZ Deathrays, talked about them a little bit earlier on the show. They're going to be playing at the Miami Shark Bar at the Gold Coast in Queensland. And that moves us on to Sunday. Vera Blue's going to play at the Oxford Art Factory in Sydney. Listen Up Music Festival is going to be taking place in Perth. Going to be heaps of great bands there if you're getting along to it. And Ballpark Music's going to be playing another show at the Triffid in Brisbane, Queensland. That one still has some tickets left if you want to get along to it. Hey Geronimo are going to be playing the Surrey Hills Festival in Sydney, New South Wales. And finally, DZ Deathray is going to be playing in Cronulla at the Sounds of the Suburbs Festival. Lots and lots going on. Get amongst it. Go see something amazing. Go see something live this weekend. Heaps of great Australian bands playing this weekend. Actually, not a lot of internationals that I just read out there. So don't miss out. See some exciting stuff.
Keep up to date with the latest music news at onthecurbside.net.
All right. Everyone knows about it. It's Falls Festival. Exciting stuff. Lots of sideshows going on too. And right now you need to sit down and strap in because I'm going to be bringing you everything you need to know about the Falls Festival sideshows. So after they pulled together a pretty massive lineup for all of their standard New Year's Eve celebrations and the usual stops of Lawn, Byron Bay, and the newly added Fremantle event called Falls Downtown, they're going to kick off some sideshows that have been announced. And first off, it's these guys. Catfish and the Bottlemen. They're going to be playing Tuesday the 3rd of January in Melbourne, Friday the 6th of January at the Metro Theatre. Really exciting stuff there if you want to catch those guys at their sideshows. Group Love are also going to be doing some sideshows as well, playing at 170 Russell in Melbourne on Tuesday the 3rd of January. It's going to be the same show as these guys, Catfish and the Bottlemen. They're also going to be playing Friday the 6th of January at the Metro Theatre in Sydney. And they're also going to be joined by Fantagram for that show, which is really exciting stuff. The Avalanches are going to be playing Tuesday the 3rd of January at the Melbourne Town Hall with special guest Grandmaster Flash. The 5th of January at the Enmore Theatre in Sydney with Grandmaster Flash as well. And Saturday, the 7th of January at the Barton Theatre in Adelaide with Bad Dreams. That's pretty cool. Modern Baseball have also just announced they're going to be doing a couple of shows as well as their Falls Festival appearances. They're going to be playing with Camp Cope on the 4th of January at the Metro Theatre in Sydney and the 6th of January at 170 Russell in Melbourne. Saw those guys a little while ago. Absolutely amazing. Probably one of my favourite live shows I've been to in quite a long time. Jamie T is going to be playing Wednesday, the 4th of January at the Enmore Theatre in Sydney and the 5th of January at the Croxton Band Room in Melbourne. And finally, Mo. Depends how you want to say it. Tuesday, the 3rd of January, Metro Theatre in Sydney and Thursday, the 5th of January at Howler in Melbourne. Now, you may have noticed there's no sideshows happening in Brizzy. Pretty sad. So if you're up in the Sunshine State, you want to head down, catch some of these artists. Maybe you want to see a bit of this. Gonna have to get in the car, maybe jump on the plane and head down to Sydney or Melbourne and catch those shows because there just simply is not going to be any sideshows in Brisbane this time around. Pretty disappointing, sad stuff there, to be honest. Something I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to be a little bit upset about. But hey, what can you do?
Keep up to date with the latest music news at onthecurbside.net.
That is right. OnTheCurbside.net is the best place to get all of the information you need regarding Australian music news, as well as where you can listen to the podcast and catch more of us. So, for the rest of the world, Courtney Barnett's probably known as the poster girl of Aussie guitar rock. So it's surprising to learn that the six string might be taking a little back seat on her next album. Try and imagine this without the guitar. Pretty hard to do, isn't it? So, at the moment, she's coming to the end of touring her multi-award winning album, Sometimes I Sit and Think, and Sometimes I Just Sit. But she has continued writing some material for a follow-up, Well on the Road. In an interview with NME, she said her second album is half written, but she won't be able to think about it logically until she's home from touring. She went on to say, for me, finishing a song takes so much more effort than starting one. I've got some good half songs, for the next record, and maybe they'll turn her into great full songs. So far, she said the tunes do have a general reflection on the meaning of life, our purpose for being here, and all that rubbish. I've been writing on a piano a lot. It's darker and more melancholy, probably as a reflection on politics. So, when she was asked if her backing band, drummer Dave Moody and bassist Bone Sloan, would appear on the new album, she said, I don't know. It could be an album with just me and a piano, so who knows? If I knew how the album was going to sound so far in advance, I wouldn't bother recording it. But I love these guys, and they're great musicians. So, yeah, that's interesting. Could be a really big change up in the sound of Courtney Barnett with her next album. It'd be interesting to see what does come of it, if that is the case, or if we see some stuff that's just her and a piano perhaps, and the usual Courtney Barnett goodness alongside of it. But only time will tell. So she's just had a pretty massive Splendor performance in July as well. And she's, as I said before, still touring Sometimes I Sit and Think around the globe, and her last few dates are coming up in November when she plays a handful of gigs and festival slots in the US, South America, and Mexico. So it might not be too long at all before we finally hear some brand new Courtney Barnett. So fingers crossed on that one. Hopefully we hear some new stuff or get some new information pretty soon.
Bringing you the latest in indie music news. It's on the Curbside.
It sure is on the Curbside here for another week with your boy, Jacob Roebuck. Gonna jump right now into the last little bit of music news for tonight's show, and it's Cub Sport. They've had a pretty massive year, returning to the spotlight with their debut album, This Is Our Vice, which you might remember this little one off. It's a track called Come On Mess Me Up. I'm going to play it a little bit later in the show for you if you're listening to the full show. Right now, the Brisbane group are going to close out the year with a massive national tour. They're going to be playing 8 shows right across the country with a couple of under 18 shows thrown in there for the youngsters. So, really exciting stuff. This is actually going to be their biggest tour they've done. Really, really great. Earlier this year, they played their first live shows in 3 years, and also supported the 1975. But I think this latest tour shows they're going to be well and truly back, ready to dominate right around the country. As well as charming their pants off everyone with their debut album, they also did a really amazing cover of Kanye West's Ultralight Beam a little bit earlier in the year. Really, really amazing. I was actually having to listen to it this morning, doing a bit of prep for the show. So if you want to have a listen, jump onto YouTube, just type in Ultralight Beam Cub Sport. And I'm sure you'll be able to find it right there and just really take it in, because it's absolutely amazing. So we can only hope we'll be hearing that one and a couple of other their big tunes, including this one, Come On Mess Me Up, when they hit the road this November. They're going to be joined by In the Fog, In the Flame songstress Beck Sandridge on all dates apart from the Brisbane date. So grab your pen. I'm going to read you those dates and those shows right now. Going to be kicking off Friday, the 21st of October in Adelaide, the 22nd of October in Perth, the 4th of November in Melbourne, the 5th of November at the Evelyn Hotel in Melbourne, The 10th of November at the Brightside in Brisbane. 12th of November at the Brightside in Brisbane. That's an under-18s show. 18th of November at the Oxford Art Factory in Sydney. And Saturday, the 19th of November at the Oxford Arts Factory in Sydney again, which is also an under-18s show. And look at that. End of the show already. Time flies when you're having fun. It's good to be back with you here on the Curbside for another week. Going to be doing this every week again now. After a little break, took some time off, but I'm going to be back bringing you the same old amazing goodness of some Indian alternative music news, tunes, as well as the other good stuff like the gig guide and all of that. Now, if you want to get in touch with us, hit us up at onthecurbside.net. That's going to be our website. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook, which is just On The Curbside. If you do a little search for that, it will show up. Otherwise, Instagram is _curbside and at On The Curbside on Twitter as well. So get in contact. Otherwise, you can hit me up personally at Jacob M. Roebuck on my Twitter. But I'd love to hear some feedback from you. What you think of the show, what you want to hear, how you think it's going, what you didn't like, what you did like, all of that sort of stuff. And we can work on making it a bit better for you guys. Anyway, catch you next week. Bye-bye.